And welcome to the Talon Outdoors Show. What's the matter, JD?
Nothing.
Y'all acting weird.
We've had some technical difficulties. We've been in here trying to work through it, and everybody's just been sitting here and being patient, trying to get through it all. Well, I think we got it working now.
Were you impressed with my patience?
So yeah, you just sat there and kept your mouth shut, and that's unusual. I didn't see any like heat signature coming off of you or anything, or there was no fuming. You weren't about to kick anybody's butt or nothing.
No,
so.
not mad. No.
I didn't say anything because he had that look. Like when I asked you.
Dude, I got like 5 things going through my head right now in my brain. I'm just trying to work through it all.
One of them's telling me to go sit on that side.
No, you're right.
All right.
No, I got it. Anyway, so we're all here. Captain Paul's here. Fred's here. You know, I don't know. We got
Charlie, me, everybody.
Yeah, Grant's here.
Grant.
We're all.
And I just been practicing the entire way.
Yeah,
over
Robert's
here.
over there.
Yep, I had to introduce myself because I never get it right. We didn't even do it.
Okay. Well, now's your chance. Go ahead.
I'm Fred.
There you go. Go ahead, Paul. Here's your chance.
And I'm Captain Paul Tyre.
Oh, we're a little subdued today. I got up this morning early, got the kids to school, got on the phone, started making phone calls, went back to the house. And normally, you know, if I don't have to take the kids to school like during the holidays, I'm struggling to get over here on time. Mm-hmm. And but since I did that this morning, I went back down to the barn, and Dylan, my nephew's coming out of the tree stand this morning because he saw a big monster buck on the camera yesterday at 5:30 in the afternoon in broad daylight. Mm-hmm. Big, wide rack.
Oh, I know.
I'll show you the picture on the break. And I looked over there this morning. I said, he saw the same picture I saw. So he's coming out of the field, and I said, hey, meet me up at the barn. We got to get this John Deere working. That tractor's been sitting there for over a year with a flat tire, and we've had the tire fixed a couple times, and you just let it sit there about 2 days, it goes flat again. So I want to pull the rim off, and so we're working through. I said, well, I got to get a tire. So we went over there and jacked it up and pulled the tire off and sent it to the tire shop. He's texting me prices on new tractor tires, which I don't want to buy. And that tractor hadn't been able to crank. Turns out there's a mouse chewed a wire or something went wrong with one of the wires in that 1979 4440 John Deere. And I stuck a new battery in it, or a better battery, charged it up, stuck a screwdriver in there and fired it right up. You have to jump it across the starter, put a little shot of ether in that thing, and that thing runs like a new tractor. I mean, those John Deeres are just amazing. So, and the reason I got to get all this going is because we lost our farmer. Just didn't get the yields because all those deer I was talking about. He goes, I can't get crop insurance on it. You're going to have to take it back, and nobody wants to farm it. So I've been jumping through hoops with the
grow grass.
With the Northwest Florida Water Management District, trying to get into the grass program, but then I get in the Florida Department of Agriculture's Best Management Practices program. Got to get enrolled in that. So I'm working with all kinds of folks in the Department of Agriculture, trying to get. I mean, there's money out there, and they're gonna help pay for some stuff. So I'm gonna take advantage of it because they're gonna give it to somebody. Might as well
be a grass farmer.
We're gonna grow grass for 2 or 3 years, and so I've been shopping for a no-till grain drill. And I was on the phone with some guy in Missouri for an hour and a half last night talking about grain drills and hunting and weather and.
Well, at the price of grass seeds, it might be just lucrative for you because I don't know if you've bought any grass seeds lately, but holy cow!
Pensacola Bahia sells for $3 a pound, and Argentine Bahia sells for about $5. From the wholesaler right now. That's what we get for it. I got somebody lined up to cut the grass on halves, working on getting somebody to roll the hay for us, and we're just fixing to go into grass farming. There's another kind of grass farming. If I can get in that, I make a whole lot more money. But apparently, you got to have special. And I actually talked with a gentleman this morning for a long time
about that kind of grass farming.
That actually they have that kind of stuff going on.
I couldn't stand that mess growing by the house.
I mean, you just smell like a skunk out there. I mean,
well, I raise hogs, and I will tell you, it smells like money. So, you know. If I can grow up on a hog farm and
there ain't no washing hog farm off. You can't wash hog farm off and go to town.
Eagle One rim cleaner, the old acid rim cleaner. That's the only thing I ever found. I had to spray it on my hands and it would clean the smell of pig off.
Now that you got a swimming pool, just get you some muriatic acid. Why not? Just
that would work. It would work. I'd be the wisest guy around.
That's what they do.
Kind of am already.
No, they put it in a Marseille pool. They come pour
Oh
it.
yeah.
You know, and you got the grandkids jumping in the acid going swimming. It's probably why she lost that tooth so early.
Ah, my eyes. I'd be screaming like that grandyoung in the years you pulled that tooth
What
out
do your
of.
grandkids call you, Fred?
They call me Pop. They call my wife Lolly. So we're Lolly and Pop.
Lollipop.
Yep, Lollipop.
Pop, it burns.
Yeah, we pulled that tooth out of her last night. I'm eminently qualified to do that because my grandfather was a dentist. And
There you go. That qualifies. I've actually done the with when my kids were little and losing their teeth. I did the whole string to a Nerf dart.
oh yeah,
Shoot it across the room.
Flash or
I have it on videotape somewhere of me tying some dental floss around my youngin's tooth and tying the other end of the. I'm like, this is not gonna work.
oh I pulled the fishing pliers out last night. She ran and hid.
Oh yeah, you threaten I've threatened the pliers and they do run.
yeah.
But that dart thing, they kind of interested enough, and I'm like, I'm not sure if this is gonna work or not. And cinch it down real good and shoot that Nerf dart thing across the room, and it'll flat pull one out if it's ready to come out.
Probably tie it to an arrow on it.
Oh, that would just too much.
Had to get it out of there.
Oh, huh? Yeah. And then you got a hole in your wall, and then it's just all kind of
I
problems.
just put the target out. Just do it outside. That'll work. I don't think that's child abuse.
It's
pulling
something.
it out, pulling it out. Just tie it to the right tooth.
I don't know that I'd gamble on that, Fred.
I don't know if I put that on the internet.
Yeah. Did you see that deer in Summerbrook? Have you seen the story about that?
No.
Okay, so some
Is the
deer.
one walking around with the air stuck in it or something?
No, it's better than that. So some couples walking down the street in Summerbrook, and there's a deer, and he's got a bunch of Christmas lights all over him. He'd gotten into the
Just
Christmas
tangled
lights.
up, yeah.
And they take a picture of this deer, and it's circling around on Facebook and all over the internet. Well, you know, what's a redneck going to do if he sees a deer walking around?
Oh, we got to put that thing out of his misery.
Yeah. And sure enough, somebody went out there and shot the deer, and there's a picture of this dude got the deer on his pickup truck, got the Christmas lights on his horns, and now FWC is running around. They're going to do an investigation.
Killed Rudolph.
Yes, they have killed Rudolph. Rudolph is gone, and he was going to drop his horns.
Yeah, in a couple of months it'd have fixed itself.
Yeah, and you could have a scavenger hunt for the.
I had a one of my feeders that I ran the solar panel on, and then run a wire from the solar panel down to the battery on the feeder to keep the battery charged. And the last time I went to the lease to put corn in there, I walked up there and I'm like, what in the heck's going on here? The solar panel was gone, and I didn't take any, and I got a camera sitting on looking at the feeder, so I was like, I wonder if somebody has snuck out here just to mess with me and pull this stuff down or whatever. And I looked back, double checked the cameras, I'm not seeing anything. But I did find a picture of a deer in full-blown giddy-up mode leaving the feeder, like something had spooked it, which is not an uncommon thing to get a picture of a deer running away from the feeder.
Yeah.
And didn't think nothing about it. And I start walking around, and about 60 yards away from the feeder, I found the solar panel where that deer had apparently gotten
wondering what had got him.
something had got him, but so I had the solar panel hanging up with wire ties. It broke the wire ties. It broke the wire going between the solar panel and the feeder, where he got it hung up in his antlers and panicked, I'm assuming, and what was that touching my head, and went in freak out mode and toted my solar panel off for about 50 yards, 60
I wonder
yards
if
away.
it charged him up a little bit.
No, I doubt it. It's horn. I don't think it transmits electricity, but it was just 12. It's 12 volt. It wouldn't hurt him.
Yeah.
Just a little tiny 12 volt battery in there that it's charging. So
Yeah.
We had a deer knock a dead gum feeder completely over.
yeah.
And their storm, the tornado storm, blew one of those brand new feeders out here that I took home and put up there. Put that feeder up there and blew it over, and the battery was so heavy when the whole thing tumped over, the battery broke the plastic parts that hold the spinner, frame to the frame.
Get with me after the show. I got a fix for you.
I got duct tape. I fixed it.
Okay. Well, I was going to fix it the right way for you, but yeah.
I can take the duct tape off, but that's what I did, was went out there and put me some duct tape tabs around the screen and put it. I was pretty ingenious. You still open to get the door.
I've had to fix 2 of the 3 of mine. So.
Okay. We'll be back in just a minute. And we're back.
Talk about a break.
That was a wonderful break.
It was good to see you, son.
Yeah.
Come pile up in here for a minute.
Bubba, he's headed on he's camping. Now, I told him, I said, of all the weekends you picked to camp,
It's going to be a little cold.
you might be chilly.
Yep, I can
gonna
see
be-
why.
You might
I
not.
can see why you're going.
I don't think he's going to be.
You hush.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Leave.
They're he and Taylor, his girlfriend, are glamping. They said
Glamping?
Glamping, yes. Apparently,
What?
it's one of them heated
Can we talk about it?
glamping. It's
Oh, I thought
camping,
it was-
glamorous camping, Fred. It's
All right.
That's when you ride around a golf cart with your scrunchy.
All right.
I would have offered him the camper with a
That's what
heater.
I thought
And,
where this is going, because they're going to Ocala. The Villages is down there. I thought maybe glamping was some new thing I hadn't heard of.
no, it's
Gen Z's up
glamour
to.
camping. It's for people that want to camp that really don't want to camp.
I don't want to camp either. That's why they make hotels.
Yeah, you get the yurts. You get the yurts.
yurt?
A yurt.
Right.
That's got a heater in it. And
Let me just tell you something. You are never going to find me in a
In a
freaking yurt.
me either, because I got a camper. I tow the house with me.
I mean, isn't that where you get in there and you like do some pagan ritual and
No, that was the witch that went through your office a few weeks ago.
He's got the look again.
No, I'm just never mind. Never mind. It'll be fine. Did you see the little short that I put on YouTube? The little 1 minute that wasn't in last week's show, but was on the.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, you didn't. That was about your size 7.
Here we go.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was on one of the breaks, and when I was editing, I went back and I went, "Oh no, that's too good. I got to put that on YouTube."
I can honestly say I've never watched a single episode of the YouTube.
When you've lived it, why would you?
And everybody says, when I tell people, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, the show. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, well, the show. And didn't you listen to it? And I'm like, no.
Heard it.
I was there. Why would I go back? I was there. I was
I
looking
do.
at Fred when he said that silly mess. I was looking right at him.
So,
Yeah, but it was what I said that was funny to me. Oh, I pulled. Anyway, I pulled a Bill Logan,
Oh, did you?
and just under my breath commented.
oh no, yeah.
Is it in yet? Comment. When he was talking about the size 7 up somebody's butt. Anyway,
I don't know what I'm gonna do with y'all.
I know.
There's good, decent people. There are a few good, decent people that listen to the show. A few.
Oh yeah.
Changing
Did you
the
see the
subject.
story?
I saw in the news today that the farm stores in Dothan are closing.
Well,
closed in
there's
Tallahassee.
There's 2 brand new ones. One of them's opened in August of last year, and it's already closing.
The one up here by the house. Now I get to go on my diet and actually lose weight because I was the one of 5 customers they had at the farm store here, the one on Bullheadley and Bannerman. Their fresh bread is second to none.
It was good.
Oh my gosh! And it's the one place in Tallahassee that you could get pastelitos. Pastelitos. No, I'm
What's
probably not saying it.
what's it?
It's Cuban pastry. It's the delicious, delectable, wonderful, fantastic Cuban pastries that I love so dearly.
I watched them build the one between Rehoboth and Taylor on the way to the Dothan Range. I watched it go up. I got excited. I'm like, hey, this is going to be cool. I finally get to go to one of these places. And then I never went because I didn't know how it worked. And,
why I
you
didn't
can't,
go.
because the first thing I'm going to do at a store is pull up in the parking lot and go in.
Yeah.
That's what I do, but that's not how it works. You have to drive through, and you have to know what you want. They have an app. I didn't know they had an app.
Oh, well.
But you want some Fruit Loops and some milk and some pastries. You can just drive up there and tell them what you want. But I don't know what's on the shelf, and that's how people in the South buy stuff. Is we browse. I go in and I'll buy more stuff. Oh, this is an impulse. I didn't know I needed that fudge right there. I didn't know I needed it. Well, I walk out of there. It's like going to Publix. I walk in there to get one thing, and they had to buy one get one. And even at Winn-Dixie and Marietta, they do.
You
that
leave with a
stuff
whole
now.
shopping cart full of
And I
stuff that
leave
you
with
didn't know you wanted.
$250 worth of stuff.
It's like going to Costco. You go in there.
I didn't know I needed 12 gallons of pickles, but
Yeah.
I got them.
Costco absolutely requires a list.
Yeah, you can't. You cannot deviate from the
You
list.
can't even walk into the section that whatever is on the list. You have to go directly to that section where you might find what's on the list, and you can't deviate from the path. You cannot. Yeah, or you.
When you leave with two of Costco's shopping carts full of stuff, you got a little carried away.
So yeah, I'm going there today. I told my wife I've got a menu planned out for the weekend because it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
I'll have some crab mornay and puff pastries and some wilted kale and maybe a bottle of cake bread Sauvignon Blanc.
Well, I don't know what you eating, but
Spell all that.
I ain't even sure it. Some of it sounded all right. The kale, now you can
Write
have
that
all
out.
that.
Let me
you
read
want.
that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Kale and kelp. So, you know,
Hopefully by this
seaweed.
time next week I'll have a big smile on my face because I had something good to eat.
Yeah. Well, good for you, because I tried kale one time, and I think it's like one letter off from kelp. I think, you know, seaweed and
If you braise it just right, and a little prosciutto in there, yeah.
okay.
Paul's gonna catch some crappie.
We fried some
biatch.
We don't call them that.
What do you?
Crappie?
Crappie.
No, they don't work.
Well, that's the French pronunciation of crappie.
Okay.
That's the Fred would understand.
I like that. I personally, I'm going to henceforth. I plan to adopt the Cajun pronunciation of that particular fish, the
Perch?
sacalé.
Sacalé.
That just sounds cool.
Sacalé?
What was you fishing for, sacalé?
Sacalé.
That sounds like you're trying to insult somebody.
No, fishing for
Sacalé.
the
It's
Hey,
sacalé.
man, how you doing? Suckle. Well, you too then.
Yeah.
Real close to JD's imitation of the old Ultraman.
Charlie, did y'all eat any of those sacalé yet?
Yeah, we fried them all up. I had no idea how much fish we had got into until I said, you know, we got the family over. Let's fry these fish up, and we invited everybody over. Yeah, we were eating cold fish for 2 days after that. Dylan took some home, and Robert, my stepdad, took some home, and we're all like, well, we're just eating cold fish for 2 days.
It takes a grown man to eat a whole sacalé. I mean, you
tell
eat
you
that whole thing, and you see there. I'm doing it on purpose, Fred.
There you are. I mean,
And henceforth,
I know it, and I'm gonna have to just learn how to control myself.
henceforth the
Very difficult, but
well, you know, it's just I can't remember. They got a cool name for what we call a mudfish or a grindle too, and I can't grindle. They've got a cool
you
name.
mean like
for
a
it.
bowfin?
Yeah, bowfin.
All right, there's nothing cool about a bowfin.
Yeah, they're cool.
Hey,
They're prehistoric critters, man. They're awesome.
Bowfin, you can catch him, throw him up in a mud puddle on the bank, and it'll dry out, and he'll live. It'll rain again in 2 weeks, and he'll crawl right back out of there. And still.
That just shows you why you shouldn't be eating one of those.
Nobody eats
Yes,
them.
oh yes, sir, they do.
Praise the
Oh, yeah.
Lord. What you talking about?
So the way you
Gadsden County? Or?
no, the way yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So they take them, Paul, and they boil the meat, and then they run it through a blender to cut all those. They've got the little Y-shaped bones, just like a jack, just like a jack does.
Okay.
They'll blend them up and make salmon patties out of them, and it's good. Just
Really?
take my word for it, it's good.
The description of that
I
makes
would
me
never
want
thought that.
Ralph. I mean, it's just
Do you like salmon patty?
salmon. I mean, you know, like sockeye salmon.
I'm talking about salmon, pink salmon out of the can that you mix with egg and flour and fry.
It's right up there with spam.
Really? Now,
me.
okay. Well, anyway,
I
I grew
like
up
spam,
eating. I grew up eating salmon patty, fried salmon patties like that, salmon croquets, whatever you want to call them, salmon patties, and you put cane syrup on it.
And my grandfather
I've
liked them,
heard of
said
that
he
now.
called them salmon.
Salmon
Never tried it.
patties, yes, that is correct. That is for us's down here. Salmon patties.
He's from Alabama, so
There you go. Well, we're
they pronounce the L.
L.A., Lower Alabama.
Yeah, LA.
Yeah. So, but yeah, both end you can do the same thing too. A lot of work, but you
Yeah.
can do it, and it's not bad. Gar, have you ever heard of eating gar?
No,
Longhose
I
gar.
would not. You eat a gar.
Yeah. You take your wire cutters or some tin snips, and you slice right down the top of his backbone, and you kind of peel him open like a banana. And they got a back strap in them like a deer that runs right down their spine on both sides. You get a long piece of, and it is absolutely delicious.
I thought I was exotic when I was eating quail eggs at the sushi
Man,
joint.
I was a kid growing up. We eat if it moved in the woods. It's subject to get it.
If
We
you got
gonna
it out of
try
the river, you ate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kind of like, well, people from South Florida look funny at us when we say we eat mullet.
Well,
you
now
know?
that's a different story.
No, it ain't a different story. It's the same exact story, Fred, because you've never tried any of those things that I'm talking about, so you don't know till you try it.
So you're broadening my horizons? Is that what you say?
That's exactly what I'm doing. That is why we are. That is my goal in life, to broaden your.
Did you?
Do they really need broadening even further?
Well, it needs raising.
I'm elevating him to a whole new level of
Reach
redneck.
down
buddy.
there and pull his horizon up.
There's a whole new level of redneck I'm fixing to throw on Fred. He just don't know.
Well, Fred's horizon's a lot closer than anybody else's. He can't hardly see over it. Nobody else to see it.
He got to get up on the ladder
Yeah.
before it's over with. Did I see what you asked me about?
I'm just tickled pink. Y'all got me in this high chair up here.
Oh, I love. I forget sometimes that I'm married to a short person because we'll be in a public place.
Yeah,
And
you
she'll
look
go,
for her. She's
"Where's the
right
kids?"
there.
And I go, "They're right there." And she goes, "Well, I didn't see them." Well, what, there was. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Let me get out. And I'll squat down and look. And I go, "Yeah, you can't
You
see
can't
nothing,
see them at all.
I don't know how you see anything down
You
here."
might lose her just looking around and looking level. And where'd my wife go? Oh, she's about to step on her.
Well, why do you walk around with your head down all the time, Charlie? Because I'm trying to see everybody else. Hey,
Not step on my wife.
you know what I mean? We're the same height.
I know.
So, yeah.
Anyway, you asked me if you was about to ask me if I saw something. I probably
Oh,
did.
your brother's crane hunting.
Yeah, that's man. I really want to go out there and do that.
You shot him a crane?
He goes several times a year. They go Sand Hill Crane. He lives in Texas.
Oh,
and
that
they're-
stuff's good. It's like a
Rib-
flying steak.
Ribeye of the sky.
Yeah.
They are
I
called.
don't know what you're gonna do with that foot-long beak you got. but-
Well, I tell you what you
He's gonna
don't.
split it open and open up like a banana.
you just peel that thing like a banana and get your wire cutter.
If you fry it, it'll probably be all right.
You gotta marinate it. We'll be right back. And we're back.
But yeah, there is all manner of edible things. When I was a kid growing up, and I guess a lot of that was me being raised by my granddaddy that was born in 1911 and lived through the Depression and all that. Man, they didn't waste anything. I was having that discussion with somebody. I remember, and I think I've shared this on the show, going quail hunting and after school in the afternoons with my grandfather, and we'd pull up in the woods wherever we were going quail hunt out there, and somebody would have dumped an appliance, gotten rid of an appliance, and I'd see that dumped stove or dumped washing machine or dishwasher or whatever it was, and I just knew that how my day was going to end that day after we got done quail hunting. I was going to be holding a flashlight, and Papa was going to be taking the switches and the controls and the burners or whatever was salvageable out of that appliance. It was coming out and going home with us. And he kept folks' appliances around town running, long after their time, because he was an electrician by trade, and he worked on he could fix appliances out of, and you may have a Maytag washing machine and a GE timer on it,
Well,
make
Maytag
it
you
work.
wouldn't have to fix, right?
Oh yeah, you do. But yeah,
we swapped out my stepmom's Ann's hot water heater here a while back.
yeah.
And it was one of the holiday projects. Went down to Lowe's, got a hot water heater, went in there, and been in there for 30 years. And pulled it out, and I told Dylan, I said, "Go throw that thing back. We're fixing to tear a house down there on the property. That we're just waiting on the power company to pull the power cable off."
Mm-hmm.
And
That'd
I
be
said,
a good idea.
I said, "Go throw that thing over there, and then I'll just crush it and bury it with the rest of that stuff, and what'll burn will burn." And I went by the next day, and it's sitting out there by the highway. And I said, "Why don't you put?" He says, "Well, Brett, my stepbrother," he said, "Brett said just put it out there, somebody pick it up." And I'm like, "Ain't nobody gonna pick that thing up, man. I don't."
Gone.
It's gone.
Gone.
Feel like a day later, it was gone. Apparently, there's copper or something in it. I don't know.
I have personally rebuilt a couple of water heaters. Most of the time, it's just a matter of
You just take the
unscrewing
heat elements out,
elements
put
out.
new
but
elements in.
yeah, and they're not complicated equipment. You just gotta, seal
Normally-
everything back up.
Normally, what I would do with one, I would just replace the elements. You might have some
Scale in the
scale
bottom.
in the bottom that might keep it from draining right, but
Nope, that's the easy way to get that out. You take a piece of PVC pipe, put it on the end of your shop vac, and you go in there and just start crunching that stuff up with the PVC pipe while you're running the vacuum cleaner and get it all out of there and go to town.
I mean,
I learned how to do that when I was 12, man.
I-
It was just, I purposely bought the absolute last one I could find in Tallahassee about 6 years ago, an old school heating element, one on top, one on bottom, simple thermostat. They don't make them anymore. You can't find them. Everything's digital and programmable and all this stuff. I searched the world over, and I thought I found true love. No, I searched.
Another.
He was gone. Sorry, hee-haw reference. I searched all over the place for one of those old school,
BR 549.
a new old school water heater, because I wanted to be able to do all of those things. Now the question is, when the heating element goes bad, am I going to be able to find it?
I mean, did you incorporate it into the still that you made in high school? Or?
We don't talk about those things on the show, Fred. I mean, hypothetically, hypothetically, a water heater could be incorporated into, being
You should
being a
just
vessel.
buy a couple elements and put them on the shelf, and then when the time comes,
That's a really good idea. I hadn't thought about that. But
you
yeah.
buy it now. I bet you can find it on Amazon.
I mean, I try hard to buy old school stuff that can be fixed, because 99% of everything you buy nowadays, appliance wise or whatever, is
it's gonna break in 10
absolutely
minutes.
it's gonna break, and it's an
Probably
absolute
why she
throwaway.
married you. She got something old school that could be fixed.
Yeah, well, I mean,
correct his
everything is-
attitude a little bit, and it'd be all right.
Everything is built to be thrown away. It's just
Even vehicles.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Drive them till they quit, and then park them and sell them for scrap. I mean, that's just
We keep driving that 08 Suburban that we're fixing to give my daughter. Jesse's getting that here in a few months, and I just keep, every time it breaks, we just take it down and get something fixed on it.
I really want to find out. Allie, my youngest, that's turns 15 over there in the fall. She's gonna need a vehicle here for long. I'm trying to find her something classic. Something with a carburetor and spark plugs, a truck.
Yeah.
She wants a truck. Man, they are demanding a premium. Rust buckets are stupid expensive.
Oh, yeah. And it ain't going to get any better.
No, it's not.
We'll be back in just a minute. So we were talking on the break about hitting deer.
You were?
Old buddy Joe was on Reddick Road over in Marion the other day, and I found out, I looked on Facebook, and his wife had posted something. Whoever picked up the buck on the side of the road that my husband hit, you need to let us take pictures. We need it for insurance purposes. I'm assuming he didn't get the deer. Now I let it sit a day to let him calm down. Called him on the way over here to record the show today, and I said, "Hey man, I heard you killed you a big old buck off Reddick Road. I know you're hunting up there." And he's
Why
like,
did they just ride around and found a dead deer? There it is. What kind of insurance company don't take your word for that? There it is. That'll do.
so he
What the heck?
he's got
Man, I'd be fine to be a new insurance agent.
He's got that
the one
same
with
front
the-
bumper that I got. If you hit something hard enough to bend it, it's gonna bend everything. That's my fear, is that I'm gonna hit something with that big brush guard, that ranch hand brush guard I got. But if you bend it,
It's got
it's
everything.
not one fender, it's both fenders, and it's the hood and everything else. So it's
Well, I ain't
kinda
got
rough.
one of them.
Well, I do.
If I ever call Jonathan Cheeseburger and say, "Hey man, hit a deer, I need to file an insurance call," we got to take a picture of the deer. I'm like, well, hang on, let me go ride around till I find a dead deer, but I ain't likely to drive all the way back to wherever
Well, if
that
I,
dead deer is.
I don't know what all Joe had going on, but I can tell you this: if I hit a deer, I'm gonna get out and load that sucker.
We're gonna
up.
have some backstrap.
And I don't know the I don't know the whole story. I just got bits and pieces of it. I try not to anyway. So it's a and Paul, you said you hit a deer.
Yeah, I hit a deer on the way to go get a part for. We were putting in a power steering pump on my wife's car, so I was going to town and hit a 7-point. And so I was like,
30,
I didn't
32
see no
point, what was
immediately
it?
steam coming out of the truck, so I was like, well, I better try and go back. And went back and ended up messing the radiator up and everything. And State Farm's gonna
I hit a bear once.
total my vehicle. So I called Mr. McDaniel from Sneeds, Florida, and he's putting my truck back together. And what a great man, great listener of the show, and I sure do appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. McDaniel.
Hey, that's awesome. That is awesome.
But
Yeah.
but did get the deer. And my buddy Jeff Travis up on Lake Seminole, he's teaching me how to eat. I hunted back when I was a kid, but once I got into fishing, I fish. You know what I mean? So, and we've been I gave them a Hobart deer processor when I bought the new place, and I didn't realize the thing was like $4,000. That thing's expensive.
Hobart is expensive.
Hold on a minute, Paul. Can you get it back?
Was it a grinder or was it a
Yeah, because
grinder?
the guy went over there and he was
We
looking
just
at,
gave it away?
He was looking at the place with me. He goes,
Now, is it just a grinder? Or was it the grinder with the saw and all that built in?
Oh, it had everything. These people are big time hunters, and
You just gave it
man.
away.
the guy goes,
That man owes you a
he goes,
huge favor.
He goes, that's a
No
good.
wonder he's fixing you, car.
No, not him, not him.
Yeah, I processed the deer for you.
I had a guy over there looking
good
at
trade.
the stuff. When I was
Good trade.
buying the place, because there's a bunch of stuff left there, and he goes, "That's a good grinder." I'm thinking, what kind of metal does that thing grind? He goes, "Oh boy, that's a meat grinder." I went, "Oh." That's the truth, But anyway, I've been eating deer meat that they grind themselves, and my wife now is telling me to start deer hunting because when you cook deer meat, and we add about 10% fat to it on the whole product, grind it up hamburger meat. She's made chili, taco meat. She's like, I don't have to drain the grease off the meat. She goes,
Right.
there's no indigestion, you know what I mean? Heartburn. It's amazing how good deer meat is.
If you'll take you go find you some bacon tips and pieces. It's what they trim off of bacon slabs before they slice it. You can find some, and you put about 15-20% of that in with some venison and grind it up.
Yeah.
You're talking about bacon burger. You have to cook it all the way through to get all the pork cooked. But I'm fixing to. I've been looking around. I think I'm fixing to try to cure me some pork shoulder or something, and just try to cure it and see what I can't do with it.
Charlie's prosciutto.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I want to cure it and dry it and slice it. I want a meat slicer, but my wife says, "What do you want a meat slicer for?" And I said, "Take up room in the kitchen, along with the meat mixer and the meat grinder and the meat cuber and the."
Yeah, but that deer I hit, we went back and got it, and we salvaged about 70% of the meat of it.
He's acting as excited as I was when they first came out with Stole Elite.
Well, hey, roadkill. That's not
Discovered something
roadkill
new.
deer.
I mean, I know I saw where it slid, and we went right back up there and got it.
Yeah, the thing about roadkill deer is just how long has it been there?
Yeah.
And how bad was it damaged? And then, you ride along and, I'm just redneck enough to be riding down the road and go, was that there this morning? How long you reckon that thing's been
Hey,
sitting
that
there?
meat is so good, it's
Tenderized.
Well, they do age them, I mean, just not out in the hot
I
sun.
almost hit one. I almost hit a big old buck last night on the way home from the soccer game.
Do you have a ranch in?
No, the problem it was way over in the neighbor's yard, and the hedges and all got in the way before I could. Yeah. It was a fine one though.
Some
But
tracks in there.
Made every effort.
Neighbors out there got the sod guy.
There's tire tracks through my yard. It's funny because there's deer tracks too. And I don't know what. And some blood.
Yeah, that bear I hit, I was in Crawfordville. The bear came running across the road. I slammed into the bear. That thing rolled about 40 yards.
He only had to swerve about 30 feet out of the way to get it.
Yeah.
Be careful what you say on the radio.
No, he rolled about 30 yards. And he got up,
looked at you with a
looked at me, and pulled out his front paw, shot me a bird,
and run off.
and went straight in the woods. I hopped out with my pistol, going to go get, I think I got to put him out of his movement. I couldn't find that bear.
That's
Don't
a
you do,
redneck thing
don't
to
you do that.
Yeah, don't.
Well, I
ever
mean,
do
it
that.
was, I didn't wanna-
I worked a.
This show's for entertainment purposes only. And, in no shape or fashion is the counselor actually engaged in illegal hunting activities.
I worked a double vehicle homicide on some bears one time down on Smith Creek Highway, Leon County. I was the responding deputy.
Is it a bearicide or a homicide?
Well, it ain't no homicide because that would be a bearicide. It'd be a
So you kill no homo.
osocide.
Is that the way it is?
Osocide? Yeah. Anyway.
Only he would know the Latin
The crap
scientific
floating
name
around in his
for a
head.
bear.
It just never
Yeah,
ceases to
y'all
amaze me.
We need to
you
raffle
started
off
it.
a
You started
game with
it.
JD.
You started it, Fred. You started. Anyway, this guy hit 2 bears at one time crossing the road,
That's death penalty material there.
and
buddy.
then And so I get down there and I work the crash, and I ride up the crash and let the fella go on his way with limp his car home. And the dispatcher calls me on the radio and says, "Hey, FWC on the line. Their biologist is coming out to collect the bear, and you have to stand by with it." So now I'm in Smith Creek Highway, just north of the Wakulla line, is about as far in the middle of nowhere in Leon County as you ever gonna get. It's very dark there.
That's a real long straightaway.
Yeah.
You can go very much fast out there if you wanted to.
And so I'm sitting there waiting on the biologist to show up, and I'm got my lights on because I don't know why, because I wasn't really worried about nobody running over me out there because I never saw another car, I don't think, the whole night. I'm sitting there leaned up against the trunk of my patrol car waiting on this guy to show up, and I hear something. I look back there in the dark behind me, and it was the third bear had come back. It was the 3 little bears, and the third one had come back, and it's
He's gonna
standing.
blow your house down.
I'm standing.
Their porridge was too cold.
So I'm standing about 30 yards from this bear, and he's standing back there in the dark, just out of, I shine a light on him, I see him, and I'm like, "Get on out of here!" And he don't understand redneck, so he stayed right there, and he starts. I'm like, "Leon, on the dispatch, I'm Leon, I got another bear here that's very much alive that's not happy about me hanging out with his dead relatives," and they're like, supervisor kind of picked up on what I was laying down. He goes, "Don't you shoot that bear? Don't you?" Okay, well, I'm gonna be sitting in the car. Because I was thinking, that thing gets a little bit closer. I might could justify this.
Okay.
Anyway, fun stuff.
That's,
the things we do.
all right.
Yeah.
Was that like a session ending story?
It kind of was. I was just kind of digesting it over here, thinking about you sitting in the middle of the night with 2 bears and one of them coming out there to come see you. I would have liked to have a video of
2
that.
dead bears and 1 live bear that wasn't happy about things. That thing was mad about his kinfolks.
Wouldn't you be mad if somebody hit you?
I guess, but
Your new Native American surname is Two Bears.
2 bears, 2 dead bears.
I'm not going there.
It's appropriation.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
And that ain't no bullshit. That really happened.
And we're back. So, let's talk about fishing, Paul.
Let's do it. I tell
You've been
you
catching them sockeye.
Sakale. And they've been biting on Lake Talcon. We'll put the glasses on. Just to give y'all some lake conditions, Lake Talcon right now is high and muddy. Water temperature is about 49 to 51 degrees. It's starting to clear up a little bit down towards about the middle part of the lake. And the crop, they've been catching some big crappie down there. Sakale. 2 to 3 pounders on the main lake. In the mouths of the bigger creeks like Ocklawaha Creek, Rocky Comfort, Little River, that areas.
So you fishing Talcon or Seminole?
I'm talking about Talcon right here. I'm talking about Seminole now because that's been happening up there too. And there's a lot of stuff going on up there this weekend.
What are you fishing?
I'm gonna fish Lake Seminole. I fish both lakes.
All right.
That's right. You ever fish Lake Talcon?
Huh? I mean, not like you.
Do you know Lake Talcon is the only lake of the way it's how it's made up in the state of Florida. There's no other lake like Lake Talcon in the state of Florida.
Didn't know that.
True reservoirs. Got creek channels or a dam.
I've
river.
duck hunted there.
Oh, yeah. You ever duck hunt Lake Seminole?
I've not. I keep thinking an alligator might eat me, and
Oh, yeah, that did happen.
then somebody married my best friend married my wife.
Well, it didn't really happen that way, Paul. That's what everybody thought.
In the middle of December.
Yeah, but when they're all kind of
Sleeping.
hibernating or whatever they do. But Lake Seminole, the lake that from the recent rains we've got, it's been high, and the Flint River's been muddy. The Hooch has been muddy. Spring Creek, it's about halfway down the creek to maybe about Rattlesnake Point where the dirty water is. And that water temperature, it's always a little bit warmer than Seminole, about 52, 53, 54. But they're pulling about 22,000 CFS today. Yesterday, there was up to 27,000. So they have all 3 generators
What's
running.
CFS?
Cubic feet per second.
Okay.
Lots of water
Lots
going
of
down
water.
the Apalachicola River and the Ocklawahamie right now. There's
So
a lot
that's
of
what's draining into that river right now?
yeah.
Yep.
Well, the Ocklawahamie is Lake Talcon is primary. That's the primary, and then you got Little River and Ocklawaha Creek and Rocky Comfort and a bunch of Polk and a bunch of other
Yeah,
creeks.
Little River comes out of I didn't know that.
Little River goes into Lake Talcon.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Seminole, you got Fish Pond. Basically, you got Fish Pond Drain, Spring Creek, Flint, and the Chattahoochee that become the Apalachicola River.
That's right. That's right.
So, I got a striper report from the Striper King of yesterday.
Tell us about that, because I haven't been seeing many stripers.
He said he's been about 4 times, and all the conditions are exactly right. And cold,
Right.
Cold water, high flow, right time of the year, and everything. He says nothing on Ocklawahamie right now.
I have on where?
Ocklawahamie River below the
Okay.
dam. I'm
Yeah,
talking
I haven't
about.
seen them on Seminole either. And typically this, from October till now, that's when some of the best striper fishes there is on Lake Seminole, and haven't been this year. Haven't seen them. I don't know if it's due to that low water we had all summer or what, but the crappie's been biting really well.
Sockeye.
The sockeye, and then the bass bite's been really good.
You
There's-
going?
Just to let y'all know, anybody going to Seminole this weekend, there's a Georgia High School Association tournament there, and there's probably be 100 boats going out of the boat basin this weekend,
Bainbridge.
running down the river. And there's-
So don't be on the Flint about
Don't be-
daylight.
Yeah, don't be, because I'll sit out there at the house. Charlie, you've been to the house. You'll hear them running for about 3 weeks ago when there was that Florida Bass Federation tournament. I heard them running down the river for like an hour and a half, just constant running down the river.
I think I'm gonna go buy me a glamp and go down to Enchanted Pines. And
That would be a good idea.
No, no, dog. Oh, get you a yurt.
Yeah.
You got to have a yurt.
There it is.
Yeah, Paul. I remember back.
Fred can hear the banjos now.
I remember back in the day there was the big early BASS tournament on Seminole.
Yeah.
And we were riding. I was riding through town, and there was a beautiful Ranger bass boat. Nice rig, it parked at the IGA parking lot, and as I drove by it, kind of looked over there at that thing, and I'm like, something ain't right with that motor sitting on the back of that boat. Really funny, and I stopped and turned around and went back to get another look at it, and high water situation on the river, and they'd put in at the boat basin running down the Flint and hit a big log that had floated off the bank or whatever, that they'll, when the waves and all that stuff, those logs get to rolling and they'll be underwater for a little while and above water.
Yep.
And I can't remember the angler, pro bass fishing guy, hit that thing running 70 miles an hour.
Yep.
And it threw that outboard. It broke the transom, and the entire outboard motor ended up over on the back casting deck of the boat with them running 70 miles an hour. It jumped slap off just landed over in the back, and I can't imagine a 150 horse motor running at full 6,000 RPMs all of a sudden sitting on the back casting deck of your boat going down the lake.
Yep.
But that's exactly what happened with that. And I used to remember who it was, and it's been a long time ago, but I thought to myself right then, I don't want to be on the Flint running wide open in low light right at daylight, low light.
Like you're saying, especially right now, as we got high water, so they'll pull during the day, then in the evenings they'll let it rise back up a little bit. Well, then the water rises back up, then more stuff comes off the bank. Then it starts pulling down again. Then you'll see stuff coming down the river, and it's just it's when I say horse sense, y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people out there, guys, that ain't got much.
No comment.
horse
why do you
sense is
think
a
I
little
have
better
a
than-
job? I mean,
Common sense is not common.
Yeah,
I mean, when you see stuff floating on the lake, slow down.
Slow
If you're
down.
coming into an intersection and there's a police officer doing his thing, slow down.
Yeah, that's the first.
Slow-
That's the first thing.
If you see a highway patrol and got someone pulled over,
Slow down and move over.
slow down and move up. It's common sense.
and don't yell at him and call him a pig as you go by.
That's right. I mean, have some damn respect out there, people. I mean, it's crazy.
because that's
I was watching.
All fired up. Listen at him.
I was going down the interstate yesterday, coming to Tallahassee, and I watched 5 cars just drive. Didn't slow down. Went right by a highway patrol. I'm like, So I pulled over. I just
I
made
had
everybody
disabled
start
his
beeping horns
battery.
at me.
I
I
mean-
slowed down. I don't care.
I upset a trooper the other day, and he kind of scolded me a little bit. I was parked out in front of Walmart waiting on my wife to come out, and I was in that very poorly marked yellow line kind of fire lane. It doesn't really say that.
Loading
Just
zone.
anyway, I'm just sitting out front, and that's standing. That's not parking. And
Right.
he came by and go, "Hey man, you can't park in the fire lane." And I said, "I'm not parking. I'm standing." And he didn't like that at all. He goes, "The statute says parking or standing," and he is correct.
Okay.
But
It says improper.
and I said it with a smile on my face, but he didn't say it back with a smile on his face. And I'm like, "Oh, I think I'll just move." And that's when she came out. So now I'm like, well, I'm either going to drive away and leave my wife standing there wondering why I'm being rude, or I'm going to risk making him madder because he
Sir-
blew the horn at the next guy that didn't roll
And I
his
could have
window
walked you
down.
on that one.
Do what?
I could have walked you on that one.
I could have walked yourself.
Sir, can I please pick up that angry little woman right there that's about to get in the car? I'll get out of the way then.
Oh, I drove around the door and
She's
parked
out
in the
there.
next one. But instead of parking in the yellow line, so I pulled up there where they parked the shopping carts, and I wasn't in the fire lane anymore. I was in the part where the shopping carts go. So Walmart might not like it, but it wasn't a fire lane. And the thing is, I think I know him, and I didn't mean to make him mad. I rolled the window down. He said that, and I smiled. And I mean, I study statutes constantly because I'm still expecting to know it, and I know the difference. But I don't really focus much on fire lane parking. That's not something I've been focused. And troopers don't really either. Well, that's not their thing. But he'd been sitting over there writing a report for a while, and I guess he got tired of seeing me sitting there. And he had every right. I think he's one of my neighbors. I think
Ooh,
I
Tyler's
just
in trouble.
lane was not properly
now every
delineated.
time I go, I slow down a little
You
bit.
better be
more.
driving the speed limit.
It'll take him a little bit longer to forget about that one.
That made that man mad.
Well, maybe that. I mean, you said it was like a faded line.
Oh, it's terribly marked. It's
Okay,
not.
well, that's
It's,
not
and
a
there's not a
proper
sign
traffic
there.
control device.
I had somebody fuss at me not too long ago. Now, this was,
Oh, I ain't gonna make him mad.
I had a lady fuss
I
at,
tend
fuss
to
at
do
me about
that.
parking up in the front of a store where a handicap parking space used to have been.
Oh, no, you got to have the sign a certain height.
Oh, it was a used to been. It was a used to been.
There was still some blue paint down there.
There
somewhere.
was a sort of stripe that had been covered up mostly with a white line. They had moved the handicap parking space to somewhere closer to the ramp on the other side, and I pulled up where the used to been handicap was.
Yeah.
Because I recognized there weren't no handicap space no more because the sign was gone, the blue was mostly covered up, and whatever else. And, sir, you know you're parking in a handicap spot? I'm like, no, ma'am, I'm not. Yes, you are. That was it. I'm like, ma'am, they moved it over there. And she goes, oh. And I'm like, where's my apology, lady? And,
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm double jointed in my feet. I could turn them around backwards and all that. That
yeah.
happened to me once. I pulled into the thing. I knew it. And there's a cop sitting over at the store. It's Publix, you know, he's like patrolling. And I got out, just twisted my feet around and
Waddled on in.
waddled on in. And he didn't say a word.
Fred, you probably didn't even have to do that.
Hey,
would've looked
I
at you
threw it
anyway.
down. How you throw it?
Stop. Stop. We're just.
I'm on the spectrum of handicap. There's days when I can't hardly walk because something hurts so bad, but I'm not. It's.
I'm eligible. I got an artificial hip.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all listening. See y'all next week.
God almighty. Good idea.